I'm Vanessa Croy with your KENS 5 News Now. The death of a San Antonio police officer outside a vacant elementary school Tuesday has been ruled a suicide, despite early reports that it was an accident. San Antonio police now say Officer William Casberg shot and killed himself. We're now learning Casberg was under investigation for invasive visual recording charge in Rockport in an incident that happened on November 15th. The alleged victim is just 17 years old. Rockport police say that Casberg had agreed to speak to investigators there, but then died the next day. The invasive recording incident is still being investigated. And we would like to note that Rockport PD tells us San Antonio police were not aware of their investigation until after Casberg's death. A San Antonio man has been sentenced to federal prison for a string of violent armed robberies, those crimes spanning across 3 counties. 40-year-old Aseko Factor was sentenced this week to 28 years behind bars. According to court documents, Factor, along with his partner Andre Dupree Jack, robbed at least 3 pharmacies. The crimes happening over 3 months in 2020 at pharmacies in Luling, Pleasanton, and Seguin. Police say Factor and Jack would barge into pharmacies, hold the employees at gunpoint, and then bind the employees with zip ties. Now, before they also stole cash, drugs, and other items from the stores, the heist totaling a whopping $43,000. Factor pleaded guilty to the charges, including 3 counts of armed robbery. He was also ordered to pay $47,000 in restitution. As for Andre Jack, he also pleaded guilty, and he is set to be sentenced in January. A man wanted for murder in Florida has been arrested here in San Antonio. Now, according to police in Florida, officers found a man's body in the Emery Street Canal on November 28th in Kissimmee, Florida. Detectives were able to identify Romeo Flores Perez as the suspect. Now, he was located in San Antonio and arrested on December 6th. Authorities believe he was trying to get across the border into Mexico. Right now, he's awaiting extradition back to Florida. A San Antonio man says a group of people left him and his friend bruised and bloody while they were bar hopping downtown on Saturday. Rico Flores said they were followed by a car from North Main to Presa and then to Commerce Street. The men in the car then allegedly cut them off, threw them to the ground, and brutally attacked them. Flores says the men were calling him homophobic slurs. When they finally stopped, Flores was able to call police, but those suspects had taken off.
I was thrown to the ground. My head hit the curb. I was kicked multiple times by the guys. Many gays, trans people, anybody of the spectrum of LGBTQIA. This is frequent. I have to tell my story in order to help other people who are going through the same thing as well.
If you know anything about this crime, call San Antonio police. Horse-drawn carriages are now banned in the city of San Antonio, but the ban won't happen immediately. The City Council approved a measure on Thursday to phase out the carriages over the next 5 years. Well, the plan starts with limiting new permits for horses and also limiting the hours companies can operate. 5 companies in total will be affected by this ban, but they tell us they'll continue to fight to stay in business. And also during that meeting, City Council approved more than $19 million to maintain and improve the Tower of Americas. The city will contribute $15.4 million, the largest amount it has ever invested in the Skyline staple. Well, Landry's, the company that leases the tower and had the restaurant at the very top, will contribute the rest of the money. Construction is set to begin in February. And that is your KENS 5 News Now. I'm Vanessa Croy.